Hello everyone. Right now we're gonna present you the video game snakes that we on our team we presented. The team is Nicole Carrillo, Mayra Guajardo, and Luis Núñez. This is a game overview of the video game that we did. And in the next slides, we're gonna have more details. The description of our project is, this is a multi-thread version of the video game Snake, in which we have that there are several amount of snakes and cherries. This version will be a computer versus human game. So you play to eat all the cherries, avoiding crashing with borders and the enemies. And each enemy will be independent, and the number of enemies is configurable. This means that the user selects the amount of cherries and enemies before start. This is a UML diagram that we did, in which we describe the elements and methods on each class. We have 6 classes: game, cherry, enemy, player, and window, which all of them are in main. How does the game works? At the first, the user, there is an input of the number of cherries and enemies. Then we start with a window with the snakes and cherries. On the player side, if the player eated the food, if it did it, the score and the length increases by 1. If not, we check if it moved left, right, up, or down with the key arrows. If yes, we change the direction up and update the position. If not, we continue with the game direction. And if it crashed, the game is over. On the enemy side, the enemy is randomly moving. If eating the food, increases the score and the length by 1. If not, it continues moving. When all the cherries are eaten, we ask if it was the player or the enemy. If it was the player, it shows a message of winner. If not, the message is loser and the game is over. And right now we're gonna have a source code tour to let you know, so you can see what we were doing.
Well, we use a library called Eviten for this game. Right now we are watching the window class. We can see that it's a struct, and then we have the constructor right there. And then we have a method that adds the points to the GUI. We will be seeing this later. And then the text format method just does that, gives the text a format. And the endgame method, it's a method that when the game is over, it depends if you win or you lose. And you can see if you lost by a collision or because the enemy ate more cherries than you. And if you won, then in the screen you will see that you win. Then the draw method, just draw the point. And then we have another end function that is just a complement for the other function. Then we have the player class. This is the main snake that you can control. The struct, then we have the constructor, and we can see that we have 4 kind of heads, one for each direction, and 2 bodies, one for horizontal and then one for vertical. Then the channel pipe for the snake, and then we have the direction. It depends of which key is pressed. and it changes the direction of the snake. And then we have the position of the head, and if the snake is out of the bounds of the scene or it collides with himself, the game is over. Then we have the draw method that draws the snake, and in the 100 line we can see that according to the direction of the snake, it is the head that is drawn in the scene, and the body that is drawn in the scene. And then we have the move snake method that just moves the player in the scene. And we have another auxiliary methods that complements this class. Then we move to the enemy class. It's very similar to the player one, just that the enemies move in a random way, not with the keys. And the direction depends on a random number. And the player has a collision with himself method, and the enemy has a method that is collision with the player, but it's almost similar. Then we have the cherry class, is the food that the snake eats. This is very simple, just the position in the scene, and it has eaten variable that if it's false, well, it's not eaten. If it's true, it's eaten, and then the cherry removes of the scene. And then my teammate Nicole will explain the game class.
Okay, so the game class basically controls the whole game. Here we have an struct, an object of the game. We have the channels, we have the snake, that is the principal, as my teammate Eduardo said. And we have an array of enemies, the ones that are going to move along, and the respective channels. So here we create the new game with basic, just a simple initialization of variables. And also we create the channels and the arrays that are going to store the information of how many cherries are going to have, how many enemies are we going to have, their channels, how it's going to move everything. We have this time sleep here. And well, then we have the method that we invoke in the other classes for the stopping the game. We just control this by a variable of a Boolean. And when we have the update method, here we are checking the directions, we are adding points, we are moving the player, we are moving the enemies. And also here we have the control of the points. How is the user going to know at the end how many points he gained or how many points the enemies gain? And here we just have the draw method that basically, as my other teammate says, just draws the scene and the time. Sorry, the screen. Here we have the main method, and here we're implementing some background that is already done by, we have put here the reference, and we are going to see here in a moment. We have the validations, and we create the world struct and the game struct that is going to create basically our GUI for the project. I'm going to run an example with many things just to see. Okay, so here we have a collision detected. I'm going to run this again with less things. Okay, so it's a little bit slow. Wait, no. And we have the message here that I won, and the score is right here. Now we're going to get back. So our key learnings for me was the multi-threads. I didn't know anything about this, and library management.
And for me, I practice more the multi-threading and learn about the graphics in Go.
And for me, I improved my skills with Golang, and I understood better how the channel worked.
And well, this is everything for our presentation for the Snakes game. I hope you enjoy very much this one, and thank you for your time.